Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for coming here. This hearing is now called to order. This is the public hearing of the City Council Committee on Children and Youth, and the purpose of this public hearing is to hear testimony on Bill number 160009. I recognize the presence of a quorum of committee members. Members of the committee in attendance are our Vice Chair of the Children and Youth Committee, Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds-Brown, and committee members Councilwoman Sherelle Parker and Councilwoman Quinones Sanchez. Also joining us in the room today is the sponsor of the bill, Councilman Bill Greenlee. Thank you very much. Councilwoman, before we get started, I just wanted to make a few opening remarks. Today is actually the inaugural hearing of the Committee on Children and Youth. This is a brand new committee created and formed by City Council, and I am Helen Gim, and I'm proud to be the chair of this committee along with my fellow colleagues who are here. We felt very passionately about the creation of a Children and Youth Committee that would look at very specific issues, of which I think this bill is a great example, about the broad needs of young people in our city, and that sometimes we do need to create special venues so that we're paying particularly close attention to them. Beyond traditional committees that have often dealt with children and youth, including education, but in this particular committee, we are going to be looking at and embracing the whole of children's experiences in our city, and that will include issues that touch on a variety of areas, everything from food security and access, homelessness, child care, teen health, and care for young people. We're going to look very closely at child advocacy, juvenile justice, and we welcome all of those who are in this room who care about this issue deeply, and we will be doing our best to make sure that that's upheld. As we begin, I would like to allow my vice chair, the vice chair of the committee, Councilwoman Reynolds-Brown, if you have any opening remarks.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. What a pleasure it is to be at the inaugural session of the Committee on Children and Youth. And while City Council, I believe, has done a splendid job in attacking both challenges and opportunities facing young people in our city, to know that we now have a committee that focuses like a laser beam on opportunities and challenges facing young people will, I believe, enable us to be even more effective, useful, and helpful in alleviating many of the challenges that they face. And while we were able to get a lot of work done on behalf of children and youth under the Health and Human Services Committee, chaired formerly by our former colleague, Councilwoman Marion Tasco, including the Youth Commission, which came through that committee, and my lead bill and other matters, this, as I repeat, will allow us to focus like a laser beam, because we know the facts. When I came to City Council, there were 4,000 children in foster care. There are now 5,000 children in foster care. Every single night, there are 1,500 people, children, not sleeping in their own beds. So it's an enormous opportunity to make a better difference for our children. Congratulations to the chairwoman. Thank you.
Thank you. The bill number 160009, and I would like to now ask the clerk to read the title of the bill.
An ordinance authorizing the managing director to contract with the Support Center for Child Advocates for the provision of professional services to the city for representing children in certain legal matters, all under certain terms and conditions.
Thank you very much. I'd also like to recognize Councilman Bill Greenlee, who is joining us today and is the sponsor of the bill, to make some opening remarks as well.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And you're doing a great job up there, by the way. She was all nervous, just to let you know beforehand. In short, the Support Center for Child Advocates do an excellent job. They have represented children, and the administration is going to talk about their background a little bit, so I won't repeat it. But they've done a great job in representing children that needed that help, that could not be represented by the Defender Association. Without going into the gory details, but the members who were here last session probably know what I'm talking about. They kind of got caught up in an issue that had to do with how conflict counsel was going to be handled in the city of Philadelphia. Former Councilman O'Brien took that issue on, and as a result of, I guess, let's say, difference of opinion with the former administration, there was legislation put in that any contract that had to do with conflict counsel would have to come through City Council before the Child Advocates, the Support Center for Child Advocates were just renewed every year through the administration. So in a sense, they got caught up in this kind of, no pun intended, conflict. And it was never the intention of former Councilman O'Brien, myself, or anybody to have them in any way shortchanged. So I certainly support this bill. I hope the committee sees fit to move it forward because, again, the Support Center for Child Advocates do an excellent job in what they do, and they deserve to continue doing it through the city of Philadelphia. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Councilman Greenlee, and thanks so much for being a strong advocate on this issue. The clerk will now call the first witness to testify on the bill.
I'm sorry, the committee calls Julie Wertheimer, Assistant Managing Director for Criminal Justice.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please state your name for the record, and you may proceed with your testimony afterwards.
Julie Wertheimer, Assistant Managing Director for Criminal Justice for the City of Philadelphia. Good morning, Chairwoman Gim and members of the Committee on Children and Youth and Councilman Greenlee. My name is Julie Wertheimer, and I am the Assistant Managing Director for Criminal Justice for City of Philadelphia. I am joined by Jessica Shapiro, the Acting Commissioner for the Department of Human Services, and Marguerite Galtieri, Managing Attorney for the Support Center for Child Advocates. We are here to testify in support of Bill number 160009, introduced by Councilman Greenlee, which authorizes the Managing Director to contract with Support Center for Child Advocates for the provision of professional services to the city representing children in certain legal matters under certain terms and conditions. Since its founding in 1977, Child Advocates has trained more than 8,000 attorneys who contribute pro bono services to protect children. This legislation authorizes the contract to provide counsel for children who cannot be represented in legal matters by the Defender Association of Philadelphia or another provider due to a conflict. This is a core function of the justice system and a service the city is obligated to provide. In addition to representation, Child Advocates provide social workers to address the child's need while under the agency's representation. We respectfully request that the council rules be suspended to allow for the first reading of this bill at the next council session. We thank you for your consideration. My colleagues and I will be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you very much. I would like to invite my fellow committee members. Are there any questions or comments from members of the committee for Ms. Wertheimer? I think we are. Oh. Well, seeing as there are no questions, we want to thank you very much for coming in and for your time on this issue. Are there any additional witnesses who are here to testify on this bill or would like to make public comment? Great. If no one else wishes to testify, we are going to conclude the public hearing on this. This concludes the public hearing on bill number 160009, and we will now go into a public meeting to consider the action that will be taken on the bill.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. We are now officially in a public meeting and for motions for Bill number 160009. And the chair recognizes Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds Brown for a motion on the amendment to Bill number 160009.
Madam Chairwoman, I move that Bill number 160009 be reported out of committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended so as to permit first reading at our next scheduled session.
Second.
Great. It has been moved and properly seconded that the amendment to Bill number clarification, seconded that Bill number 160009 be approved. And all those in favor of the motion will signify it by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So the ayes have it, and the motion carries, and Bill number 160009 has been approved. So thank you very much.